Well, today on the workbench I have a new project here. This is a Broadway Limited Paragon 2, and we are going to be taking out the sound decoder that's in this. This is the Paragon 2, so we'll take that out. We're going to install some scale sound system speakers in this. Probably end up with one in the tender, maybe two. I'm not real sure yet how we're going to do that. We got to get it apart and see what we need, but the plan is for two in the tender. And then I want to take a one of the boiler barkers and put up here in the smoke box. So we'll see how that works out. And of course the major part of this is going to be in the tender. So let's well, actually what I want to do, I'll get a before and after video of this. So I'm going to take this, put it all together, set it up on my test stands, and we'll run it, get a sound comparison video. So, okay, let me get that set up and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back here. I've got this set up on the test stand. So let's turn it on. So this is all the factory sounds. Get it moving here. You hear the dynamo kick on. Alright, so we're about 12 inches away from it, and I'm shooting this with my cell phone. So, but anyway, this is where we're going to start. We're going to go ahead and start taking things apart, see what we need for it. We'll eventually put a LOCSound V5 decoder in this. Like I say, 2, possibly 3 speakers. Of course, we'll have a Keep Alive in it. So let me get back and we'll start taking this apart. Alright, we've got our tender back up here. Put my controller away. Now I need to find my Phillips screwdriver. And we'll figure out how to get into this. A lot of BLIs, you can just, they're friction fit, and I believe that's what this one is, because I've got one corner moving, but I don't have a good place to, there we go. Just pop that right off. Okay, let me zoom in here just a little bit, see if we can't get some of that glare off of it. Alright, so we've got 2 speakers, and I'd say those are both 20mm speakers. But we're going to take this apart and see what we have. going to start unplugging. No. So I know the red and the black are speaker wires. This one here is it's like for our rear pickup, or yeah, one side of the pickup. All right, so let's get this apart. And we are also going to be using a Decoder Buddy Mini in this. Got a couple of spacers there. So you can hear my air conditioner kicking on and off. There, it just went off. Bracket to hold that down on there. So here's our two speakers. Looks like they've got them hooked up in series. All right, so looks like I'm gonna have to get two 20mm speakers. Let me get out my calipers here. And that's 22. Yep. Yeah, we'll find something. That probably is a 20mm speaker. I'm going to assume they just measure the cone for their speaker. Yeah, because the cone is 20mm. So there's that. And I may end up having to replace this factory harness. Maybe get a, because this is a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a 7-pin harness. If I put the speaker up front, I may have to get a 8-pin. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so we've got that apart. For now, I am going to put this back together, and that way I won't lose these screws. That. So pull the screws out of this board. That way I'll know where they're at. Okay. That and that. Now, we will move on to the Locomotive. And we'll get out the exploded view here. And that smoke box should come right off. If I can get it off with just my fingernails. I don't think I can. Just trying to look and see if there's any place in there that I can get a blade in. I'll get out an X-Acto and okay, that is gonna pop right off of there. And I didn't want to use too much force on that blade because it will nick plastic. So right there's our smoke box cover off. Does have an LED light in it, as you can see. Let me zoom out some. All right. And then I'm going to pull these two screws out, see what's behind. We'll tip that forward. That way I won't drop the screws in. Alright, it looks like what I'm going to have to do is pull the whole body off, unless I can get a small speaker in here. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's an opening right in here. So let me get I need to get a measurement. So I've got about 20 by, the depth of that is 16. Yep, I can't get in there to measure what I want to measure. It's 9. Now I'm going to have to look on the Scale Sound Systems website and see what kind of speaker that I can get. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, now we're going to get back to determining what size speaker we need. I'm going to pull the boiler off, and there should just be 3 screws holding this. We'll pull that one right out there. It's right under the front truck. And then there's these two back here in the corner of the cab. Get my tweezers out. Pick those up out. There's that one. Okay. So now we've got that apart. I'm going to unhook this light off of the board. Well, I think I'm going to remove the light off of the board. Let me get out. I've got a pair of pliers here. That's not it. I don't use them very often. But these are like flush cut nippers, and they've got square ends on them. I don't know if you can see that or not. But you can take and grab these plugs by the plastic and unplug them. And for some reason, this one does not want to let go. There we go. All right. So we've got that unplugged. Let me set the shell off to the side, and you can see everything is labeled. Well, maybe you can't see that. Let me try if I can zoom in on it. This board on the bottom here, yeah, you can't read that probably, but it's all labeled what things are: track, motor, ground, front light. There's a speed sensor on this, motor, and then track pickup. So set that off to the side. Now what I want to do is, well, first things first, since I've got this light board unscrewed, we'll pull that out as far as I can. And then we'll pull these two screws out. And that'll release that weight that's in there. I don't know if it'll come out the front. Yep, there it comes. Okay. So we've got this weight. Now, I don't want to take a lot of it out. I do want to keep this as heavy as I can. Let me pull this light board out. So I'll set this back in here for a second. That's where that goes. We'll put one screw in it, just so. I'll be able to measure this. Guess I could cut that in half. Leave the front, put the speaker back in here. That way I'd still have enough room put the light board back in and be able to fasten the light board back to the factory mount. Let's see, kind of so about a 16 millimeter. by 20. All right, let's go back to the catalog. And see about a boiler barker. There's some 15 by 20s. I think that may be the way to go. We'll get a 15 by 20 and we'll add that to the cart. I'm just kind of making up my list here as I go. My cart. So it looks like what I'll do is I'll take part of that weight out. That'll let me reuse the factory mounts. I'll take the center section of the weight out, basically. Let me look again here. So, boiler barker, okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I'll end up doing. I'll take the center section of this weight out, 20 millimeters of it anyway, because I think that was the shortest one I could get. It's going to be a big chunk of that weight out of there, though. That's the bad thing. Because I'd really like to have the biggest speaker that I can get. If I'd get a 13 millimeter one, I could leave part of the weight. Debating. Let me pull this weight back out. All right. It's 18, 20. So without the weight, we are small. I wonder. Just trying some fitment things here, just to see. this basically comes all the way to the end of that, so I can't turn the weight around or anything in there. Alright. Okay, so I think we have what we're going to get for speakers. I may get one just smaller. So I got a 15 by 20. Let me get we'll throw a 15 by 15 on there. That way I won't have to have quite as much of the weight taken out. Okay, so I've got the two speakers for the tender. Go back to those and look at those again, just to make sure. And then I got to get the decoder and the Keep Alive. So, all right, we're going to cut it off right here, and I'll order some parts, and we'll get this thing back together. All right, we're back, and we've got some parts in today. For this, we got our ESU Keep Alive. You can, or not Keep Alive. They don't call them Keep Alives. They call them Power Packs. Okay, sorry, I forgot. But you can see the number there. 54671. So we've got that in. We got two. Let me open the bag. Get them out. Scale sound systems. These are 25 by 25 by, I believe this dimension was 9 or 10. It's just 9. Okay. So we've got two of these in the hopes that we can set these in here just like this. They'll fire straight down, and then we will have our Decoder Buddy Mini and our ESU V5 decoder. So that's going to be the tender setup. I don't know if I'll be able to use the this was the platform that everything else was sitting on. I'll probably have to disregard that or discard that. So anyway, so we've got that. We're going to have that. We'll have our power pack. I'll be able to put it right in here. That'll be great. So that'll be our tender. Now the other thing I have, I got two of these just so I could give them a try. These are boiler barkers, and they are scale sound systems. I got two different sizes. One a little longer than the other. So what that will do, we'll have our shell, and we're going to put that up in our shell. So I haven't decided which one I'm going to use yet. I don't know if I'm going to use the small one or the bigger one. But what I want to do is, this is the weight that came out. So that'll fit back in there. And then I've got to see how much I need to cut off. And if you're hearing a constant droning in the background, that's my air conditioner, because it's like 90 degrees and humid. So if I didn't have it, I wouldn't be able to sit out here and do this. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And that's the wrong screw. So let me put one screw in this. Because I want to be able to keep as much weight as possible up front. Hate to take too much out of it. So right now, I can't leave the entire thing in there. I'll have to cut it, and because I want to use the factory mounts for the light board also. So I originally planned on cutting it in the center and then sticking this big one in between the two. Or I could use the smaller one. So I'm still undecided about that, but now it's time to decide. And alright, I think I am going to use the bigger of the two. So let me pull this weight back out, and then I'll go cut it. Alright, so what we're going to end up doing, let me move that out of the way. I'll set this down here. And I'll get out a marker. I want to keep as much of it up front, the biggest part of it up front as I can. So right there. Okay. That'll give me plenty. Then I'll be able to reuse the factory mounts for the board. Alright. So we have our plan. Kind of a plan. Put that little one away. I'll be able to use that in. I've got some smaller steam I can use that in, so that's no big deal. It pays to have a few samples of things laying on the bench or somewhere around you can grab. So I will go cut this. I'm going to weigh that. I probably don't want to know how much weight I'm taking out of it, but I will weigh it if I have batteries in my scale. And I don't. Yep. Alright. Anyway, here I go. Okay, I'm back. I've cut this, and I decided, actually I wanted to just leave all the weight up front, so I moved the speaker back. That way I'll have this area back in here for the sound to come out. So I think that'll do better. let's put this in here, and so it'll have one screw holding it. Yeah. Get the screw on my screwdriver. Alright. And I'm going to have to pull that back out so I can put my light board on and get the wiring back underneath, but I want to try it. So then we'll take our speaker, and I'm going to have it in here like this, and that'll set on the bottom. So we're good. You can't see it in there, but I'll go ahead and wire that, and when I mount this, I'll put double-sided tape on it and have it firing straight down. Anyway, I think that'll work out pretty well, and that, like I say, that'll give us our factory mounts still. So let's pull this back out. Dump that out. Get a screw here. It's not those. There's that one. Okay, so we've got our factory board back on. I can snake that through. Okay, there, I caught it. Alright, so that gives us our factory board back. We'll be able to plug that right in. Now I could, let me turn my soldering iron on. Yeah. Measure a piece of styrene, I think. Put in here. Let me get my wires on that. So let's see. I'm going to use two different colors. I'm going to get a red and a black. way I'll know what's what here when I go to wire this up. So there's my black, and I am going to leave that long. And I'll leave this one long also. So that ought to be plenty. Okay, let's strip that off. Get out the solder. Make sure the tip's clean. Go ahead and tin this up. Okay, there's that. Turn my soldering iron down some. That, get something to hold that with. So I got my wire. For some reason there's that. Okay. Now I can get my black wire, which I didn't have tinned and ready. And if I get it stripped, well, goodness. And all else fails, break out the wire strippers. Okay. So I've got it tinned. Use this little piece of solder up here. So there, I've got that tinned and ready to go in the boiler. I'll get my solder straightened out here. Okay. There's that. Okay. I'm going to pull this front weight out again. What I want to do, well, wait a minute. It's hard to run that wire back through over top of everything. Yeah, let's see. is I'm going to mount that speaker in there. There's a lip right there. Okay, let me think about this for a minute and I'll be back. Alright, now I like to show everything, or try to show everything, but I had this thing in so many positions trying to get this. I ended up putting the weight in and the speaker in off camera. So I did get it in there, and it did take me a second to get it in there. So anyway, I've got it, and I'm not taking it back out. But I can tell a little bit of difference in the weight reduction, but I think it's not going to be that noticeable. Now I'm throwing screws and everything everywhere here. Let me put this thing down. Alright, now we just have to figure out how we are going to wire it. What I want to do is wire it in series parallel. So I'll have the two speakers in the tender wired in series, running back to the, or running up front to the speaker in the boiler. So, and I'm going to try to use, let me pull this wiring harness out of here. I'm going to try to use the original wiring harness. This had a speed sensor in it. I'm going to take that out. I don't need it. So now we're down to, because I can reuse the factory plug for the light, which that'll be pretty handy. I mean, I wouldn't have to, but I can. So that is what I am going to do. Get that plugged in, and that is a tight fit, which that's good. It's less wire. So what I want to do is be able to wire the speaker, and I'm gonna have to unplug that because that's just too close for what I need to do right now. So, all right. That way I'll have enough room to work on wiring the speakers up. So, let's see here. I'm going to use the, I'll have to think about this a minute, so let me go off camera. Okay, it looks like I can put my meter on this yellow wire right here. Let me zoom in. Yellow wire on this JST plug is the sensor, because they've got these conveniently labeled back here on the board. I don't know if you can see that with the glare. I'm trying to get rid of some of that, but you can see they've got them labeled. So this yellow is the speed sensor, the red is the front light. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to run one wire to my speed sensor. So I'll probably use the red for it. And if I'd have thought of this before I did it, I would have put a yellow one on it, just so it would have matched. But I'll cut the speed sensor wire, get my meter out of the way. So let's see. We'll cut that there. And, well, let's see. Let's do this. We'll just go ahead, just so we'll have a neater connection. We'll pull that yellow wire completely out, and I'll hook it right to the board. That way we can eliminate one connection. Now I'd like to reuse this if I can, so let me just kind of do that. Get that out of the way, and I can let me move that. So I'll pull that off of the board. Okay, let me cut my red wire. That should give us plenty. Strip that off. All right. Now I'll put a little bit of flux on that. Tin that. And I can try to solder that right to the existing connection. Okay, so there's that. Now I can wrap this. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my black wire. So I'll take a piece of Kapton tape, I think, put in here. Well, I know I'm looking right at it. There it is. And this isn't black tape, it's kind of a cloth, or it is a cloth. Let's see. I have some cloth black tape. Well, scratch that idea. I'll put a piece of Kapton tape to hold the wiring in the shell. So let me get that. Get it cut. So we've got that down in there. Now, check something here. Okay. All right, that, I've got the tape on it. That one, and I think I just pulled my Kapton tape off. Anyway, I did. Go ahead and plug the lights back in. I still need to figure out what I'm going to do with my black wire. Okay. It's a sensor. Let me get out my plug. I'm going to check this ground wire. The only thing it is for is the light. I know I can't use it on the speaker, but all right, back to the drawing board here for a minute. Okay, I think I have this figured out what I'm going to do. So, our light, these two terminals feed off of this. So what I'm going to do, instead of running my positive wire back to the board, back to the tender, I'm going to take it, run it to one of the track pickups to get our power in. We'll still have our negative wire run back, and that'll run back to the decoder buddy. I'll have the resistor on the decoder buddy, and that will take care of our resistor. That'll get us our power, that'll give us our function. So let's go ahead and so down here on the board, let me get my tweezers. Grab that, pull that off, move it around. Let me get this out of my way. And this is in here pretty tight. I need to bend that wire. Alright, so there's that. Then I can run my negative speaker wire to that pickup, and we'll be able to use the factory harness. I won't have to change anything. So we'll cut that. Strip that. Make sure I turn my camera back on. There's that. Well, if I can get a little closer grip. About a little tug, and I can make sure these are run around the side. Pull that up there a minute. Yep. Unplug this again. Have a little more room to work with, because I want to run those around, make sure they're not touching anything. Okay, so we'll lay that down there. Make sure those are laid in right there. All right, there we go. So we're nice and clean there. We can put Plug this back in. Let me get it on the outside of that. Fold that in, nice and neat. So there's that. Plug that back in. All right. Pull that out. That'll drop right down on. And for right now, everything looks good. Shell goes back on it great. So I can go ahead and put the screws back in it. Way we won't have to worry about it falling apart on us. And then we can move to the tender. We'll have it all set up. Well, if I can get that started. All right, now I really can't tell a lot of difference in the weight. Let me zoom out here. Can't really tell a lot of difference in the weight of it. So I think that's going to work out really well. And the thing I didn't do was put those back in. Yeah, I'll get those here in a minute. So, but yeah, that's our locomotive is back together. Well, other than the smoke box. Help if I put that on the right way. But I'm going to leave it off so I can test it. Alright, onward and upward. I guess we're ready to move on. I'm not going to need those two screws anymore. I'm not going to need this plate. And I've got that one screw left. Alright, so that's a good place for a break. Alright, we're back here after a little break. So we've got our tender out. We're going to do a little prep here before we put the speakers in. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean where they go with some alcohol. That way the double-sided tape will stick. It's going to hold those in. Alright, we'll let that dry. And then we've got our 2-scale sound system speakers that we're going to put in the tender here. and they're replacing these stock ones. So to prep these, I'm going to put them back to back like that. Let's see. We are going to first take, and I'll use some black wire, or red wire. This will go red to red, positive to positive, and then we'll have a black to black. So let me strip that, get my black wire out. I'll strip it. Put some flux on that. Put some flux on that. And then tin both of these. Alright. There's that. Get that out of the way, because I don't want to be sucked over with the magnet. Okay, there's that. So we've got our, let me zoom in a little bit. I've got these tinned. There's that. There's that one. Okay. Now, we'll just cut these kind of short because I don't need a whole lot. See if I can get this. Now, I'm going to use my strippers to. Normally, I use my fingernails, but I'm afraid of pulling the whole wire off. So now I can take and flux and tin, both of those. Alright, now how do I want to do this? We'll go red to red, or positive to positive. Let me get that in frame so you can see it. And actually, let me go up here first. Okay, there's that. I'll run that underneath. Now, maybe. Okay. So there's that. And those will sit in there like this. So now, with those connected, let me go back to the diagram. So I'm going to need one wire, which we'll call our positive. And I will tell you, this is the first time I've done this, so we're going to see how it works out. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, so I've got that fluxed, trim a little bit off. So that wire is going to run to the positive, and I'm only doing this just so I can get these mounted. Now hopefully I can get this on here. Yeah. So this wire goes to my positive, and I'm trying to do this to where I won't pick it up with the speaker magnet. Okay, so we're good there. Good there. So we've got it coming in, coming over. Now, we're going to take our black wire. We're going to strip it off. Put some flux on it. For the black wire, that is going to go to our black. So we'll hook that right in, hopefully with no trouble. Okay, so that went right to the black. And I'll take and run those between the two up through. Okay. So my black, that'll run to one side of the speaker in the Locomotive, which will hook that to our Decoder Buddy. The red will go to the other side of the Decoder Buddy. Okay, so we've got these prepared. What we need to go ahead and get some more alcohol here. We'll clean these off. slide them up a little bit there so you can see it. And then I'll get out my double-sided tape. Other side. Okay. So there, I have my double-sided tape on there. Get it out of the way. We can bring our tender back up. We've got it clean. And I think this thing is going to sound excellent. One, and I'm just trying to get the double-sided tape peeled off. For some reason, I have the hardest time with double-sided tape. Always have. Alright, you don't need to watch me doing double-sided tape. So after the struggles with the double-sided tape, let's go ahead and we'll get this put in here. So everything is off of the metal deck. And I can always pull this up if I have to. But I want to do something here. I want to read what kind of resistance we have right there. So we got 4 ohms right there. And those are in parallel. Alright, now we are ready to get started with our decoder buddy. It's going to mount in there just like that. I guess I could put it in the center if I really wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean it off. That way I can put some double-sided tape on it. Those are on there really well. So I'm cutting some double-sided tape right now. To put on the back of our decoder buddy. Alright, so there's that. Get that out of the way. Now we're back to peeling double-sided tape again. My favorite thing. I think I have finally learned the trick to it. Instead of trying to pull up on a corner, take a pair of sharp tweezers, run under the edge of it, grab it, and there you go. So now we'll go ahead and put this up as far forward as I can. I mean, it doesn't make any difference, but okay, there's our decoder buddy mounted. While I'm doing this, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this plug off. That way I can get these two wires out of the way for our track pickups. So all right, now I need to start preparing. I probably should have done it off the board or off the speakers, but we're not going to create that much heat. Let's see, which track pickup is this? It's the left-hand side. So that track, that's this pickup. I'm going to need motor mounts, speakers. This will be the left. So I can get them out of the way. I'll use this front. I don't need that one. Don't need the rears or that. I'll have my ground for my current keeper and the positive. And for right now, that's all I'm going to put the flux on, or the solder on. So we'll start over here. We've got our motor mounts, or motor wiring. Track. Speaker. Speaker. Keep Alive ground. positive. And then up here to the front, we're going to have our front headlight. That'll be the positive and negative. And then we'll have our track pickup. So there's that. Can take and clean off. The extra flux. Just drying that off. Okay. So now I can go ahead and do a little bit of wiring here. We'll get this track pickup out of the way right now. And then we'll get this one out of the way. Little flux there. Okay. Now I just want to check and make sure that I do have that. Okay. And what I'm looking at is, let me get something to point it out. See that? That's a little spacer right there between the wheel and the axle. A little black ring. So that means with that insulator there and on that wheel, that means this side picks up. So I have it on this side. And it's the same back here, but opposite. So we have our track pickups. We're good to go on that. When we wire up our decoder buddy, or our power pack, I'll use the positive and the ground. And then, of course, ESU uses the white wire to turn the power pack on and off. So I'll have that, but that'll run right to the decoder. So I'm not going to do that quite yet because I don't want that wire hanging out in the way. Let's see. There's my decoder. That'll plop right on there. No big deal. Now the speaker wires, let me pull my picture back up. So what I've got for positive and negative, now my positive one I can put on the decoder right now. And I will do that just so I will not have to remember where it goes. So there's that. I can take it. We'll strip that off. Get some flux. Clean the tip. Tin that. Okay. Now turn that around. I'll fold it. All right. So there's our positive. Now, get that out again. Okay, so now coming from the decoder buddy, I've got those hooked together. This will go to the speaker up front. It'll be positive. Actually, either one of them. Okay. So this will go to the black up front. And then I'll have the other one coming back. So right now that's all I can do with the speakers. So I've got my wiring harness here. Let's see. Just kind of looking at the decoder here. I'll have to look and see which pad this the power pack goes to. I can either put it out there, or I can put it here on the pin header. So, all right. Now I've got to get this deciphered. I believe these two were the headlight. This one I think was the sensor. I'll have to hook this back up and see what it is. So right now is going to be a good time to take a break. Alright, after a little break I've come back. I pulled the shell back off. So what I'm doing now is I am going to go through and start hooking our wires back up. So what I'm going to do, I got my meter out because I just want to make sure. So remember, we're doing the headlight. So up here is our positive. They've got the black hooked up as a positive for the headlight. So yeah, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah. So I've got the positive hooked up to the track pickup, and so this is my positive wire. Back to so I am going to need that track pickup right there. Well, actually, what did I do there? I've lost my train of thought here. So let's go with yeah, I don't want to put that to the board. This wire won't go to the board because I'm going to use it as part of the speaker wire. So I need to unhook, I need to disconnect that wire. Okay. That will go right to the track pickup, which I need to find here. I think that's not it. I may have to pull this off. Yeah, because I got to unhook the track pickup from this. Well, what I need to do is pull this board up, pull this off, pull this out. So how is this hooked up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want that one. Well, I have lost all train of thought here. What did I have that as? Okay. So that's coming through the body. I'm going to have to take that wire and hook it to the other side. It's not pulling from the body on the other side. So well, that's going to put me back in the same shape. I won't have anything to get my second wire for my speaker. All right, think about it again. Okay, so I've started tracing wires here, and I'm using my meter. And I want to make sure I've got the motor here, one of them. So I am going to go ahead and snip it out of the harness. And then we'll start hooking these up one at a time. So, yeah, I don't know what I did there a minute ago, but I had something off. And I know this is probably kind of unconventional. Probably would have been better to get a new plug. But, okay. So now we can pull. And these are easy to change if I need to. And I may have to get longer wire. No, that's going to be close. So there's one side of the motor. So now the other side of the motor is this wire. So we'll go ahead and snip it off. Alright, now I gotta get the phone. Okay. I'll hook the other side of the motor up. Flux that. Clean the tip off. All right. So we got our motor wires hooked up, and then we'll go from there. All right. We have come back after a break. Let's see, where was I? We're starting to go through our wiring. We've got our motor hooked up. Let's see, what do we got here? We'll go ahead and attach this factory board back down. It'll make it a little easier to solder some of this stuff. And we can always pull it off if we have to. So I think when I left, I was right at the point of I'd unhooked my wire for the lights, but I am going to hook it back up to where I had it, to this track pickup, because I do want it to pick up from this side. So let me go ahead and I don't like the way that end looks on that wire. I'll cut that off and start over again right there. there's that. Now, get my tweezers out. I'll zoom in a little bit here, I guess. Trying to dim that light a little bit. Okay, so there's my track pickup. So now, motor, speaker wire. Okay. Okay, these are my track pickups, which are going to turn into, at least this side over here is going to turn into a speaker wire. And then the other one, okay, let me, kind of move everything over here a little bit. So I've got another speaker wire. I'm using the engineer side track pickup as a speaker wire. So I'll cut that. But first I need to pull up my picture to see where that goes. That's not it. Alright, we'll have to Google it here. I'll bring it back up. Alright. We're doing the series parallel. So my red I've already taken, that's our positive. So my black, which I have coming around, oh wait a minute, so I've got my black, got my red speaker wire, to motor to my sensor. So I need to come off of the third wire. 1, 2, 3. So this sensor goes to the red. No. This wire will come back and it'll hook up with my speaker wire that I've got right here. So, let me get that out of the way. I know this is complicated as all get out. I'm going to cut that off right there. So that's that. I want to make this long enough to where I can wind that together a little bit. And I'll need some heat shrink. That's the wrong size. So we'll get out a piece here. That on there. And then we can go ahead and get our flux. And solder. Cut that off just a little. And before I heat shrink that, I'll test everything. But now this other one that I'd cut off first will go to the other side of the board. I'll go right there. Okay, so that'll be plenty. Okay, now when I read that, it should read, forget what the amperage or resistance should be, but I need to fix this plug here before I do anything. I didn't get it on there straight. So all three of our speakers should be hooked up right now. Yeah, let me unplug that. Okay, yeah, I don't have to worry about that. Drop my screwdriver. Okay, so now I have, get this straightened out here. I may have to increase the length of a couple of these wires. I think it's going to be, yeah. Try and hook it up here. No, it'll go. Okay, it looked a little short, but so let's see. Let me put this back together, and then I want to read what kind of resistance I have. It should read 12 ohms. Well, I have missed something. So I'm reading this. I've got my speaker hooked up to this third one. What is the third one? To the sensor. And I don't know why I put it on that front light. Alright, now I got to do some figuring. Alright, now I figured it out, and I did it off camera. So what I ended up doing is down here on my board, and I know that's hard to see because there's such a glare on that, and I can't get rid of that glare. But I've used the sensor that used to be on the board, and then I've used the front light hookup for my speaker. And I've got them hooked up on the Decoder Buddy. So this is series parallel, and I'll put a picture up, but it's supposed to be, it comes out to 12 ohms. So I'm good on the speaker. So now this wire, this is a track pickup wire, and it'll go right here on this side. So let's go ahead and put that on there. And then, let's see, I've got one more track pickup. It's right here. So let me cut it off. Snake it through all this jumble. And it goes on the other side, or is for the other side. And I need to, I didn't think I was going to use that one, but did. There's that. And there's that. So that's the track pickups, speaker, motor. What do I have left here? This is my function wire for the front light. So we'll go ahead and cut that. And this would have probably been a lot easier to do had I just tore everything out and started. But I didn't. So now I need to put in a resistor for the front light. And I believe it is this one on the outside here. So I'll read that. So that's A1. A2. And I'll have to dig the book out, but I'm pretty sure it's this one right here. Alright, I'm going to put a 1,000 ohm resistor on that. And after that, we should be ready to go. Let me put this up on here. So, pulling on wires, just for test purposes. Okay. 1,000 ohm resistor. Dig one out. Yep. That's the wrong resistor. Okay. I'll be back here in a second. Alright, so I found my 1,000 ohm resistor, and these things are tiny. So we'll get that spun around there, and I'm going to have to solder that on off camera. Alright, so I've got everything connected. Now, all I need to do is test this out. Well, I don't have the Keep Alive connected, so let's rephrase that. But I've got everything else connected. The resistor's in. So yeah, I'm good to go on everything. I just got to put the decoder on it, and then I'll test it out. Alright, we're back, and this project started out as a ESU install, but turns out my programmer, well, somehow I can't get any power out of it. So my programmer went bad. Of course, now I guess I'm like everybody else, I can't get a programmer. So we've switched back to Evil Plan Z. So now we're going to put a TCS WOWSound decoder in this. With a TCS Keep Alive KA4. So, but that'll fit nicely in there. I'll cut the plug off of this, and yeah, we'll move on from there. We're not going to stop the project because I can't get another. I don't have another V5 decoder. Well, it doesn't matter because my programmer doesn't work. So anyway, we'll go ahead. Looks like I'm going to stick that Keep Alive right there in the rear of this tender. We'll take it up there, hook it up, make sure I've got enough wire. So actually I'm going to clean that up and then I'll be able to put our double-sided tape on there. So yeah, now I'm going to have to get a new programmer. Boy, I'd like to know what happened to that one. I get power to one side of it, but I can't send any power out. And that just happened. So I don't know what I'll do with that, but there's that. Now I can go ahead and trim these off. But like I say, we won't let that deter us. So, alright, now we just need to get a little flux. Well, we fluxed them, we'll tin them up. And then we'll put them on our board. Okay. Oh, I need to take and shrink my heat shrink here. So I did test it and everything does work. So I'm going to unplug here. But I want to use my pliers for that. And then all I've got to do is put it back together. So all right. There, I knocked one of the wires out of the plug. Go figure. So, now I gotta fix that. Alright, I'll be back after I get that fixed, and I'll have this thing all back together, tidy and neat. So, I'll be back. Alright, I've got this set up on the test stands. We've got it completed with our TCS WOWSteam decoder. We've got a TCS KA4 Keep Alive in it. And we've also got the 3 scale sound system speakers. So let me fire this thing up, and we'll get it going. There you can hear the dynamo kick on when I kick the headlight on. So it does have a pretty good sound to it. I really like that. I think the person that I'm doing this for is going to really like it. So we're going to call this one complete. And thanks for watching.